with that said, let's head into week 16. Pittsburgh Steelers, Cincinnati Bengals. Huge, massive game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is do or die at this point. The Pittsburgh Steelers playoff hopes are like 3%, I believe, somewhere around there, according to the New York Times simulator. They climb to like 15 with a win, but at least they climb. And if they win out, they really have a slim but some possibility to find their way into the postseason. Meanwhile, a loss, I mean, season's over. Pack it in, give it to Mason Rudolph, and see what you could collect for next season, move into the offseason. Our keys to victory, week 16, Pittsburgh Steelers, Cincinnati Bengals. Let's start with you. What you got?
Well, I think you got to sell out to stop Joe Mixon. I think I would much rather. I mean, I understand the what they're facing at safety, which is they might not have safeties. It might be you and me playing a few snaps back there.
Good old Eric Rowe and Patrick Peterson, baby.
Yeah, man, that's a 2017 All-Star team right there. But I mean, so I think I think your best opportunity is literally just be as aggressive as possible around the line of scrimmage, bottle up Joe Mixon. Put this game in Jake Browning's hands. I know he's played really well, but I think if you take, Jamar Chase is not in the equation. Joe Mixon, if you can take him out of the equation as well, then you put yourself in a much better position to execute that game plan that we kind of alluded to earlier, where, Mason Rudolph can run the ball, or you can run the ball with Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris, control the pace a little bit of the game, slow it down, limit possessions, let your defense dictate the game a lot there. So I think the key is really just don't let Joe Mixon run wild. And I think it also, I mean, watching the end of that Colts game, just watching them get run over by a third string and a fourth string running back, like there was an morale component to that as well. Like,
yeah,
it was just demoralizing. And I think this team desperately needs to, I don't even know if show some pride is the right word there, but like just stand up a little bit and show some toughness against the run. Like, have some reason to believe that there is, that there's still some strength and some oomph behind this team that they can stand up physically, because it just didn't look like that last week. So I think if they are able to stand up against the run, bottle up Joe Mixon a little bit, that will not only, keep them in the game, obviously, but also kind of give them an emotional lift that I think they really desperately need right now.
Yeah, to add to that one, I'm going to say stop trying to be all fancy and just come up with the best, this guy's the best at inside linebacker, and just play your best two inside linebackers. And probably those guys are, well, it's definitely Landon Roberts, and then probably Miles Jack. Probably. I'm not 100% on that one. They're both run stuffers. Stop trying to make them more than that. Tell them to go hit the hole. If you find yourself on a Joe Mixon out on the flat, that sucks, but you got to take a shot there. You got to stop sending Michael Walker and everybody else out there. And if you're gonna try to like really stop Joe Mixon, put your best run stuffing inside linebackers on the field and give everybody a shot. And I get it that the defensive line is a huge component of that, but your defensive line is put together and it's there, and you know what you got, and you gotta stay sound. And if they do that, they somewhat tend to have success. When it comes to that second level, man, sometimes Michael Walker doesn't know what's going on, and Mark Robinson looks like it's like he's never opened a playbook. Sometimes it's bad. You put Miles Jack out there, you put a Landon Roberts out there. Stop messing around. This is a do or die game. That gives you your best opportunity to shut down Joe Mixon, I believe. And I agree. The morale part of it is huge, but hopefully at home, Christmas, this place is going to be bumping. That definitely. This is a much-needed home game for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I would say, especially the defense. My key to victory is also on the defensive side of the ball. I don't know what Mason Rudolph and them can do, but I think everybody has the same idea that you run the football, so I don't think that that's like a key to victory. I think that is if you don't do that, everybody should be gone by Monday morning. Don't care that it's Christmas. Sorry. On defense, it's very simple. Patrick Peterson's going to play safety, so your starting corners are Joey Porter Jr. and Levi Wallace. Maybe James Pierre gets a good chunk of plays out there. It's no Jamar Chase. Joey Porter's following T. Higgins everywhere. I do not care where he lines. I don't care if he plays quarterback. Joey's lining up at inside linebacker. You do not put him against anybody else. You do not put James Pierre out there or Levi Wallace out there. Just don't take a chance. I'd rather Joey have T. Higgins the entire game and be exhausted by the end of it and maybe come up with a penalty here or there than risk one long or two long touchdowns to T. Higgins that might end the game. You know, that could be the reason that the Pittsburgh Steelers lose, because one 60-yard bomb to T. Higgins because James Pierre and Levi Wallace couldn't keep up. You're not gonna take that big of a risk with Joey Porter Jr. I think it's simple. You know, if I'm running this defense, Joey Porter is shadowing T. Higgins at all times, no exceptions. You'll hope that Tyler Boyd doesn't eat you alive in the middle of there, but you know, I'll take a risk there over James Pierre or Levi Wallace or Chandon Sullivan get smoked by number 5.
Yeah, and I'd rather Tyler Boyd outrun someone in the slot and then just kind of sit in the middle of the defense than T. Higgins get behind someone and really take the top off this team, because like if this becomes a track meet, and if in any kind of way, if the Steelers need to score quickly to keep up with the Bengals, they are not going to win this game. So I like that one, and I would definitely trade a few PI calls, a few holding calls on Joey Porter if he can come up with a pick or something, because he's playing so aggressive. So I'm all in on that. I love that key to victory.
Yeah, you can't mess around on defense this week. I think it's, like we said, do or die game. With that, our predictions, we got it right, but we didn't get it right, unfortunately, last week. Thought that I was talking to Nick, and during the game he messaged me early. He goes, "Dude, I'm picking against the Steelers every single week." And then 5 minutes later, they were down by like 10 points, and I was like, "Yeah, we still gonna do that, or are we not gonna do that anymore?" I thought we gave them some good luck by picking against them last week. Unfortunately, we did not. We'll see what happens this week. Our predictions: Week 16, Pittsburgh Steelers, Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, I hate to ride the negativity wave, but I think that's. I mean, look, if we're trying to pick this correctly, then I don't know how you can look at this team and think that they really have that great of a chance in this game. I mean, they are just so undermanned. They're facing a team that, like as we have alluded to a couple times, is hot. Is really finding themselves. Even without Jamar Chase, they just, I think, have too much firepower. I think the Steelers are worn out. I think they just, and I understand this. I think they're just trying to get to the finish line. And I think they're just trying to kind of get the season over with and move on. And so that, to that end, I think they show some fight a little bit, but this still, I don't think this one ends up close. I think the Bengals are able to score too many times and the Steelers just can't keep up. Mason Rudolph is solid, but just at the end of the day, just doesn't have the firepower to keep up with this team. So I don't think this one is particularly close. I think it feels less close than even the final score would indicate. So I'm going 24-10 Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah, I don't think it's pretty.
That's way worse than I thought you were going to go with that one. 24-10 is a blowout. That'd be tough. I'm going, I want to agree. Like, there's a part of me that says there's no chance Pittsburgh Steelers win this game. But there's a part of me that says it's too good not to. Like, it just sometimes things just look like everything's dead for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then they're suddenly not dead. And Indianapolis didn't feel like that. Like, that one, like I said, like felt like a game where they could win it, but I had a belief, I had a feeling they were going to get smoked. This one, I don't have that same feeling. Something about the Cincinnati Bengals, and they look red hot right now, but everybody gets knocked down a peg at some point. I'm going to say the Pittsburgh Steelers pull this one out. Again, I'm probably going to get roasted for making this call, but I'm going to say this definitely by Mark Caboli. I'm going to go Steelers 20, Bengals 17. I'm saying a Chris Boswell field goal wins it. I'm saying Mason Rudolph does just enough. I'm not going to say that he does everything, but I'm going to say he does just enough. And I'm going to say the Steelers defense steps up real big in this one. I don't know what it is. I just think that they dial in, they lock Joe Browning up, and they make life difficult for the Cincinnati Bengals offense. And it's enough to pull this one out. Again, we'll see what happens. I'm not the most confident I've ever been picking the Pittsburgh Steelers, but 2017, run Rudolph all over the headlines on Sunday morning. That's all we want to see. With that, hopefully I'm right. Hopefully you're wrong. And I think if we tallied them up, you've taken the lead on me in the season just because you've gone against the Steelers like 4 times now, and they've come up big for you every one of those times. Hopefully I'm right this week.